Here to announce my new unhealthy obsession. You've probably seen flight trackers, but have you seen maritime trackers? Oh, yeah. Maritime trackers show where large maritime vessels are, like this massive crude oil tanker, these gigantic ships that can carry 2 million barrels of crude are flocking to the United States of America. You can see sort of the highways of the ocean here, and if you zoom in, it's not exactly perfect, but it works really kind of nicely for these bigger ships. You can see here exactly how many tankers. There are 300 different large-scale oil tankers headed straight for U.S. ports, where some of the best and most advanced oil refinery in existence exist. A lot of those tankers are going from a newly opened Venezuela that just signed a new deal with Chevron to develop their ports and to develop their oil reserves, the largest in the world. Noticeably absent are tankers that are going into or out of the Strait of Hormuz, because, as you probably know, President Trump has blockaded it. Oh no. Look at this. Little bit of a congestion, a little bit of a traffic jam here. 0 ships are getting out of Iranian ports. President Trump called the Trump card bluff of Iranian oil exporters, and now the price of oil has collapsed. People know something. 1, it's good to do business with countries that are stable and peaceful and aren't going to blow up your tankers. The tankers are very, very expensive. And then 2, it's good to have a supply and demand problem. If you're the person who has all the supply and you can move the demand over to you, then you can look like this. Blockade helps put U.S. crude oil exports on record pace. Check it out. Look at this. 2015 versus 2025. You can see here the trend line is pretty obvious that America is becoming the world's oil exporter. I think it's possible that the shuttering of the Strait of Hormuz was intended a condition. I did not come up with this idea, but the U.S. crude pushing to record levels and China livid after getting cut off from a major supplier. Some things to consider. Trump can't come out and say, we never went to war over oil, so we get a handful of excuses. War is driving up gas prices in the U.S. and people are pissed off. The Trump administration can't just come out and say, we are intentionally making it hard for you to buy oil, so it's harder for China. The idea is that Trump is taking a hit to the economy in an effort to bring an even greater hit to China and debt holder or adversaries. Considering that this is the U.S. responding recently with the blockade of the Strait, I think it's a reasonable conclusion that they plan to do this all along. Iran has just backed down, by the way. Trump's blockade has worked. President Trump said the Iranian ships trying to inhibit the blockade were met with fire and fury. As a result, no reports of any incidents, confrontations where American blockade is happening. Iran is decimated and completely
powerless. It's an oil and chemicals tanker that was turned back yesterday, the first day of the blockade, but got through today with success. Now, this tracks with what the president and CENTCOM is saying, which is that the entire Persian Gulf is not blocked. Rather, the U.S. is preventing ships from entering or exiting Iranian ports. An Iranian military spokesperson has been threatening possible retaliation for all this, writing, if the security of Iranian ports is threatened, no port in the Gulf or the Sea of Oman will...
Got it. With like as they say, with what army? With what navy? Go sanction me with your army. United Nations. That's right. And it turned back. The blockade's working. Oil tankers are turning around. President Trump's Iran blockade is strangling them. Ships are not daring to test Trump's blockade. Iranian oil storage will max out within 2 weeks. Ships require explicit authorization to make it through. No interdictions reported. Iran is scared to test Trump.
Around the Strait of Hormuz. And today you've got a much different picture. I would focus clearly right here on that particular crossing. Remember, that's the area where the bottleneck has been held up in the Strait of Hormuz. I'll advance at one time here and show you a little bit here. Everything you see in green, these are major ports on Gulf countries, Gulf states, so on the left side of the Persian Gulf. On the right side, you've got the main Iranian ports. We've marked 6 here on our map. There's anywhere between 6, 14, up to 32, but these are the major ports now. That's why you've got one up by Karg Island and one here by Bandar Abbas as well. I'll advance at one time and watch this, all right? This is when people talk about these choke points, right? And they're all in the same geographic area, right? Talked a lot about the Strait of Hormuz, a little bit about the Suez Canal, and now this one, the crossing between Yemen and Djibouti. Got three major waterways there where you need access for the international economy to flow and flow freely, okay?
But Trump doesn't want it to flow freely. Trump is pissing off China. If China doesn't have any oil, China has no oil. They're not getting any oil, or they're not getting cheap oil. They can't subsidize with terrorist oil their cheap compute. They can't build their AI superstructures. It's going to be very, very bad for China. Trump administration live updates. House and Senate pleased, frankly, with the way that this is going. Bill Hemmer says, I just got off the phone with a senior Trump administration official, and I can tell you that a lot is happening today and tomorrow. We have all the ingredients of a deal, but it's not there yet. They're going to announce a deal, and things are going to go parabolic. CENTCOM, during the first 24 hours, no ships made it past the blockade, and 6 merchant vessels complied with directions from U.S. forces and turned around. Yet gas is collapsing. What does that mean? The reason why gas is collapsing is because oil prices are down 11% since the U.S. military's blockade. The reason why gas prices are collapsing is because volatility is going to collapse now as the U.S. government seizes control of the key waterway. Oil that is made by countries that are not Iran is able to flow, and the Iranian oil and the Iranian military is held at bay. And also there are now reroutes going into American ports and peaceful ports, places of peace. It's almost as if President Trump knew that the Iranians were going to walk away from the negotiating table, and this was the card. Assisting in the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports, 10,000 service members, 12 warships, 100 aircraft. First 24 hours, no ships passed through, and 6 vessels were turned back. Iranian ports are basically locked down. 10,000 troops and warships applies to everyone, not just Iran. Ships going to other countries can still pass through as long as they're not headed to Iranian ports. Whoa. I was told the blockade would cause $150 barrels of oil. They were wrong again. The experts were wrong again. Ships are actually turning around. They're complying. What other choice do you have exactly? What would you say you do here? President Trump completely remaking the world. Look at the traffic into the United States of America and out of the United States of America. This is supercharging American energy dominance. We're sitting on more oil and gas than anybody on earth. Block the Gulf. Prices spike everywhere else. Suddenly every country that needs crude, Europe, Asia, whoever, there's only one logical place to go. It is the Gulf of America. Terminals firing on all cylinders, American workers, American profit, American dollars. The petrodollar doesn't just survive. It gets a shot of adrenaline straight to the heart. The rest of the world scrambles while we're printing money and telling our enemies to pound sand. And it hurts China a lot. China cannot build. It's ours. Trump oil. China cannot build their economy. They cannot build their AI. They cannot build their military. They cannot build their space program. They cannot do anything. They can't ship plastic items to Walmart. Where does all the plastic come from? It's all petrol. All the plastic is oil. Everything they make is oil. It's amazing. Look at this. And then now we are announcing major defense. Expect a lot of these major defense cooperations all around the world. Everyone's just saying, okay, you're the big kid on the block. We're going to make a partnership with you. Screw China. Iran is losing $400 million per day in oil losses, 276 in lost exports. That's close to $750 million a day in just this one blockade. Now we're going to put the economic squeeze on them and their oil revenues coming out. It'll be other sources of economic pressure as well. China is being starved of oil. Iranian regime economy is being crushed. Strait of Hormuz being closed is a tactic benefit of the United States military and through energy exports. The Gulf of America is a global destination for energy. The U.S. naval blockade is working. Don Road Doctrine completion with Cuba is loading. New Indonesia partnerships to counter China also in the works. UAE and Saudi Arabia are cheering us and Israel on. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a very positive, very positive read on the situation. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Is Trump going to win this one? Sure as hell looks like it.